second round and the third race of the National Superstock 1000 Championship in association with Pirelli and Black Horse. 24 laps and a grid of 38 riders. The man on pole position, the man who's leading the championship after winning the first race at Donington Park 2 weeks ago. And as James Whittam has just said, a happy Billy is a fast Billy. Billy McConnell, 46.217 seconds, puts himself on pole position. If you go back to the 19th place man, who is Manxman and road specialist Dan Neen, 47.162. That means less than a second cover the first 19 riders, with Ashley Beach just beyond that 1 second mark in 20th place. And that, James Whittam, is because this is an extremely compact racing circuit, 1.2079 miles. McConnell leads by 4 points from Keith Farmer, former champion. Joe Collier, the reigning Ducati champion, in third place, ahead of another former champion, Josh Elliott. Andy Reid lies fifth after that wonderful victory on the Sunday at Donington, ahead of Michael Rutter, Chrissy Rouse, Dan Neen, Fraser Rogers and another former champion, Alistair Seeley. 11th place for Jordan Gilbert, ahead of Lee Jackson, struggling a bit in this class really, down in 14th in qualifying. Luke Hedger, Matt Trulove, Leon Geacock, Alex Olsen on 3 points alongside Ben Godfrey and just ahead of Sam Clark. Lovely slow-mo of Billy McConnell, who's put himself and the build-based Suzuki on pole position, just ahead of the Tyco BMW of Keith Farmer. And then that EHA Racing Aprilia of Andy Reid. Josh Elliott's Kawasaki, the Morello Racing bike, is in fourth place ahead of Jordan Weaving and Chrissy Rouse. The third row of the grid is headed by Alistair Seeley, in front of Michael Rutter and Sam Clark. Good qualifying from the Australian Clark. Joe Collier in 10th place ahead of Matt Trulove and Alex Olsen. Behind them, there's big names. There's Ben Godfrey, Lee Jackson, Luke Hedger, Jordan Gilbert, Leon Geacock, Fraser Rogers, Dan Neen. This is a strong field for the Pirelli National Superstock 1000 Championship. 24 laps ahead of them. Number 43, you could just see in the background there, the pint-sized Ulsterman, Alistair Seeley, riding for the Stouth Connect Academy team. But it's McConnell who's on pole position, and the start vital round here.
Yeah, short circuit, like you say, shortest on the calendar, just about on a par with Knockhill, and it's all action.
And all action is about to come our way. Look at this perfect scene, beautiful weather, a cool breeze with fabulous sunshine. When the lights go out, summer begins here at Brands Hatch, and a neat start from all the three guys on the front row of the grid, but predominantly the Suzuki as he moves right and dives into Paddock Hill Bend. And a lovely, a good start by Seeley. Tiny figure going round the outside, but getting elbowed wide and having to cut back in on the way up to Druids.
That's Elliott that's cut through, I think, to the lead now.
So Josh Elliott then leads the way, a former champion. Keith Farmer.
Tyco bike, Keith Farmer.
Farmer leads it, McConnell second, Reid on that beautiful Aprilia in third, Weaving in fourth ahead of Josh Elliott and Alistair Seeley.
Yeah, Reid's in second now. Aggressive start from Reid, stuck up right up the inside into Paddock Hill and just had a shot taking the lead, but got his nose cut off there.
And you know that when you've got Ulsterman like Andy Reid,
he's off, big crash there, slid off on his own.
Oh, no.
That could have been, that might have been it. WD-40, but it might be. Let's have a look. No, it isn't.
Got a very illuminated number 1 on the back of his plain white helmet.
First to go down, that's what that means.
Up the hill into Druids. And on the first lap, it's Keith Farmer. As you said, what I was going to say was Ulsterman. A few aggressive Ulsterman in the same race, and you're going to have a few fisticuffs.
I prefer to say a few keen Ulsterman.
Keen Ulsterman, you're right. And at the moment, we've got two of them running at the front, Keith Farmer and Andy Reid. Who is the keener of the two? Well, I'll tell you what, it would be a complete up-in-the-air judgment on that. And behind, we've got Billy McConnell, the championship leader. Just behind him, Josh Elliott, the quietest member of the Ulster Constabulary group.
Andy Reid in second, just about having a look at the lead now. That's him on the black and turquoise bike. That's an Aprilia, and he's clicked with that bike. Of all the stock 1000s, it's about the most compact. It's a V4 engine, which means you can build quite a short and compact frame around it. Small frontal area compared to the across-the-frame crawlers as well. And he loves the compact nature of that bike.
He's trimming the curbs, isn't he? He doesn't have to move off the curb going around Druids. The thing just sits down on the curb and stays there. So Andy Reid there in black and turquoise on the EHA racing bike, weaving in 5th, Chrissy Rouse in 6th. Chrissy Rouse with his traditional ex-James Whittam number 69. On the 3rd lap of 24 then, completing the 3rd lap of 24. And these laps, of course, will pass at a frantic rate. It's Farmer, Reid, McConnell, Elliott, Weaving, Rouse, Rutter, Clark, Seeley and Collier are your top 10.
Yeah, 46, 47 second laps. You get very little time to even take a breath, let alone release the pressure from the handlebars and have a little bit of a rest, because even the straights here, the bottom straight, this one they're coming on to now, way up, that's up at Druids, and that's 2 got locked together. Who's that?
And I think Matt Truelove might be one of them.
Yeah.
So, 2, let's see what happened. I think we might have a replay. Someone's winded a bit there.
Yeah, we didn't see how it started there, but definitely 2 of them got together. No recriminations there, so it must have been fairly knock for knock, I think.
It was just a kind of look, wasn't it?
It was a little look, wasn't it? A little down the nose look.
Andy Reid running in 2nd place, the Belfast boy who, he's having a stab. Oh, blimey, waving that outside leg. Oh, and of course, that's the yellow flag out there, so he couldn't overtake at that point, and he was probably, I don't know whether he was kindly warning everybody else, dropping down the Graham Hill bend. Donington Park, James, the first time in 23 years that an Aprilia had been victorious at British Superbike round, and the last man to do it was Ian Newton.
Yeah. I remember Ian. He could ride a motorbike, could Ian Newton.
And he's still involved with Aprilia today in the UK.
Has been ever since, ever since his days riding them. He could ride, could Ian? Good 250 man, always had really well prepared bikes, always really clean and nice setup. He did a few Grand Prix, some European Championships and most British Championships.
He couldn't ride Supercross. I remember 1992, Ewan Fogarty looking on in disbelief as he rode in that kind of road races invited guest race that he eventually completely banzaied himself over a double.
If it was any worse than us, it must have been bad. I can't remember it.
I've got the photo. Oh, look at that. What a move by Reid.
Yeah.
And Keith gave him room.
He did, and that's a really difficult place to pass as clean as that. It's normally a little bit more of a sort of block stop-start pass down there into Graham Hill.
Remember, Reid was confident he could have won the first race at the Donington weekend 2 weeks ago.
Never been short of confidence, Andy.
No, it certainly isn't. As we come charging out to complete the 6th lap, so a quarter of the way through the race already, and that top 6 are breaking away. Reid, Farmer, McConnell, Elliott, Weaving, Rouse are the members of the top 6. Then a little gap back to the veteran Michael Rutter.
A little bit of slide there from Billy McConnell in 3rd. When he hit the compression at the bottom of Paddock Hill, it's really easy to get the bike kicking outside us, and he did. It didn't look too much of a drama for him. He controlled it pretty well. I want to look at the man in. Actually, Keith Farmer had a little bit of a moment there as well.
Lovely shot looking through the trees, going up Halewood, and then now we're into clearways on the Clark Curve onto the Brabham Straight.
Billy McConnell says as soon as he got on that new JSXR 1000 Suzuki, he knew it was right. He just said we've done very little from altering the suspension, initially getting on it in Spain. We've had about 1 click here, 1 click there. It's been nothing to do. It's been a brilliant bike. It loves the way it feels. The front end's planted, solid. It steers quick. He says it feels very much like a super sport bike, but with a lot of power.
There's the second bunch led by Michael Rutter. And Sam Clark, the Australian on the Morello Racing Kawasaki, is in there in that group as well, right behind Rutter and just in front of Alistair Seeley. So the young man from Perth having the 22-year-old Australian having a good outing here.
I wonder how long it is since Michael Rutter first rode round Brands Hatch. I remember him riding around here in 93. Honestly, 93 had a really good run in the World Superbike. Let's have a look.
That's Joe Collier, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Sliding through inside Seeley.
Inside Elliott, no?
No, Seeley.
Is it?
But Seeley responds very, very deftly as they go up to Druids.
Yeah.
A man of vast experience. Alex Alston rounding out the top 10 just behind him. So Jordan Weaving's dropped to 11th. And Jordan Gilbert, his namesake, has moved up to 12th behind him ahead of Luke Hedger. So, Rutter started racing in 1989, didn't he? So I'm sure he was racing at Brands by the early 90s.
Yeah, definitely. How long is that ago? That seems like it's a lifetime ago. Is it the same Rutter?
Well, he's the same entertainingly glum, sartorially humoured man as he ever was.
He's always been glum. This is true.
So as we go around there is Rutter, that classic style of his, just easing his backside off the inside of the bike as he drops down. It looks so secure, that riding style.
It is. Do you know, when you follow him, it's economical. Yeah. He doesn't look like he's working as hard as you have to do, if you know what I mean. He always looks like it's quite easy for him physically.
He had his first race at Thruxton in '89 and then his first win at Cadwell in 1990. And I reckon by the time, wouldn't it, 1992, the British 750 Championship, that would have come to Brands Hatch, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would, yeah.
And he finished 11th in that, so he was obviously talking about 11th. There's number 11, Joe Collier, once more having a little set to. Fortunately, these two are entangling one another, so Michael is kind of left in a little comfort zone ahead of them, really. Oh, Collier goes straight back underneath Seeley.
Meanwhile, at the front, Reed's got a little bit of a gap here, you know, about half a second.
He has, hasn't he? Yes. 6/10 last time across the line from Farmer, McConnell, Elliott. Rouse in 5th place. Who have we lost from that top 6 then? We're on the 11th lap of 24. We've lost someone from the top 6. It's become a top 5. So as they hammer across the line, Reed leads Farmer. McConnell in second, Farmer in second, McConnell third, Chrissy Rouse now ahead of Josh Elliott into 4th place. That's the new queenstheprinters.com by IMR Racing, a new team from Ireland and the Isle of Man.
Alistair Seeley surprising me. He's struggling a little bit. You wouldn't think he would be struggling in this class. Somebody touring there, was that?
And he's beginning to make a move through the pack now, but you could say that from one or two of these people, like Lee Jackson's down in 14th place. Someone's cruising on the outside and keeping well out of the way. There's Seeley in that distinctive Stout Connect Academy green and yellow, popularised by Taron McKenzie.
Touring rider Paul McClung, I think, number 49, I think.
Across the line, Rutter has Sam Clark behind him and Alex Olsen, so you've got an Australian versus a young man of Norwegian descent, just on the edge of that top 10.
Olsen, was it his granddad who came on a boat and didn't go back?
Yeah, jump ship down in the mouth of the Thames. Andy Reid still has that. He's extended the advantage by about 300 of a second over Keith Farmer, so perhaps he's comfortable at that speed. And his last lap was 46.69. His best lap so far at 46.29. At least the riders in one piece. The marshals wrestling with that motorcycle. We're on the 14th lap of 24. James, surely in the latter stages of this race, lapped riders are going to become an issue, shall we say?
Yeah, that's always an issue at Brands Hatch, isn't it? Always. You get into them so quick as well. It's such a short lap, so the difference, you know, if there's a 7.5 difference between a fast man and a slow man, you get through the lap quicker.
So on the 14th of 24 laps then here in the Pirelli National Superstock 1000 race, there are the front three, now broken clear a bit of Chrissy Rouse, who took a while to get past Josh Elliott, and by that time he'd lost contact with the front three. Elliott in 5th, Collier and Seeley now finally have got the better of Rutter in 6th and 7th.
I don't think Billy McConnell expected this, you know. I don't think he expected to be a push for a win. Bike's moving around a bit though, the Suzuki.
They haven't matched the lap that he set during qualifying on that blue Suzuki. He was 46.217. So these guys just about were running at that pace on lap, certainly halfway through the race, or first third of the race. Billy's working desperately hard to try and get on terms with Farmer.
He is, yeah. And it doesn't look like he's got the tyre to do it,
no.
To me.
There's a number 69, Chrissy Rouse. He'll be graduating with an honours degree in a couple of months' time from Newcastle University in mathematics. Steve Brogan, who's working with him again, with him and Jordan Gilbert again, says he's it's amazing. You've got a rider who understands everything about the mathematics of the computer screen in front of him and can meddle with it himself and knows what he's doing.
Yeah, Brogy understands what a bike does though. Good spotter. Doesn't miss a lot.
Completing the 16th lap of 24, then 2/3 race distance. And again, a big dark line being laid as they come out of the Clark curve there. Wonderful style from
it's not even a huge slide. It doesn't kick out more than about sort of 3 or 4 inches, but it isn't going forward. You can see the bike's digging in, but kind of staying down. It's not pushing forward.
Of course, the family's background is in speedway, isn't it? So you wouldn't mind going sideways now and then. Here's the battle with Collier, Seeley, and they've got a hold of Josh Elliott, haven't they? Yeah. That's the number 10.
Yeah, they are going forward, and he's going back a little bit.
He is, isn't he?
Yeah.
So Josh Elliott then getting engulfed now by the battle between Collier, number 11, and number 43, Alistair Seeley. Seeley will surely be keen to find a way past. You can see Collier edging away in front of him. Steady. I don't want to see any MotoGP activity here. Oh, and the leader's dropped to 0.2 of a second at the front. Suddenly there's about 4/10 gone off on that lap. 47.4. Yeah. Andy Reid made a mistake. 47.4 against 46.7.
He's been really wide somewhere.
Yeah, and there are the front three. So Speedy Reid, he's definitely made a mistake at some point on that lap and added a substantial lump to his lap time, and suddenly the battle is on for the front. It might have been back markers, James. It could have just been coming up on someone at the wrong point.
Yeah, it might have been, and they can fall wrong for you. If given the choice, though, you'd always want to get to them first and have a go at them first.
So the man who shares the same number as the reigning British Superbike champion, Shaky Byrne, is number 67. Andy Reid leading the way. Almost identical lap times on that lap. So Reid knows that he's got to respond to that man, number 33, Keith Farmer. Well, this has got quite tantalising now. We're on the 19th lap of 24, so it's time that could work against Keith Farmer.
The Aprilia just looks more nimble though, doesn't it? It just looks to get through and round and just a little bit more nimble generally.
I've always been a bit taken aback at the fact it's never really made its mark in Superstock racing here, James.
Andy Reid says exactly the same.
Does he?
Yeah, having ridden it, yeah.
I mean, because so the Italian championships and stuff, you see the Aprilia's doing quite well on the European Superstock stage. They do quite well.
On paper, it's the best layout. Look at all MotoGP bikes; they're all mostly, except for the Yamaha, they're all of V configuration. And dropping down into Graham Hill Bend, the leaders with Keith Farmer still hanging off that Tyco BMW, putting everything into this pursuit of Andy Reid. At the moment, remember, with Reid's DNF, McConnell has 41 points in the championship, 37 for Keith Farmer, and down on 25 points Andy Reid. So Reid could really do with a victory here to put himself up to 50 points and put himself properly back in the championship chase after crashing in the sketchy conditions in the first race at Donington. Yeah, to give him a little bit of credit, he was going really well, he was catching the leaders, he was sketchy conditions, and it was an oddball crash. It didn't look like he did that much wrong.
Certainly didn't dent his confidence.
No, it didn't. Take a bit more than and you can just tell now that Keith Farmer is trying really hard to stay with Andy Reid because he's making little mistakes.
In fact, he exudes almost as much confidence as Cal did after that MotoGP win in Argentina last weekend.
Again, Cal never been short of confidence.
So checking back, 21st lap of 24. This is Collier versus Seeley still going on. And I think there might be a back marker has inserted himself just behind them to give the pursuers, Elliott, Rutter, Clark and Olsen something to think about. And that, in fact, has helped Joe Collier as he clears off across the line. That enables Collier to just open up about 1.2 seconds on advantage over Alistair Seeley. No, it isn't, because Seeley's right with him and he's just squeezing underneath. The wee wizard having to just back off a fraction because Collier wasn't going to let that go. Those Aprilias can stay so tight to the curb, he wasn't going to leave room.
They want a lot of room there.
Absolutely not. So last lap for Reed, 46.5 against the 46.7 for the his two chasers. And we're on the 23rd lap of 24, so Reed really impressive the way he's been able to respond to that bit of pressure. Coming up to lap another of the George Stanley, this is on the BWSR Suzuki. Oh, that's Barry Stanley's lads, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
I mean, some of these lads have made a big jump onto the 1000cc bike from the 600 when they haven't really got established on the 600, so it's asking a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, get him in the deep end though.
Is that what Barry would be? Well, Barry never really got off 125s and 250s.
No, he didn't. No, most of 125 in his career.
So with one lap to go then, these are the front three riders, and certainly Billy's getting a lot of movement that he perhaps doesn't want coming through the final turn there on the Suzuki. Into the final turn, there is a potential lap rider to deal with. Reedy doesn't seem to mind that curve, James, at the bottom of Halewood Hill.
No, it doesn't.
It's, you know, it knocks the bike out of shape.
The thing is, Reed looks like he's trying really, really hard, but the bike's going where he wants it, and Farmer looks like he's trying just as hard, and the bike isn't just doing what he wants.
There's a few guys in front of them now. Stockport's Ben Luxton on the OMG Racing Suzuki is one of the guys just ahead of him. We're on the final lap. Oh, and Reedy's come upon him at a bad time. He's got to ride all the way round, but hopefully that'll just project him right around the outside and just lay the tyre down and take victory for the second successive race in the Pirelli National Superstock Championship. Delight then for Andy Reid. He wins it from Tyco BMW's Keith Farmer, with Billy McConnell in the build-based Suzuki in third place. So Reid pitches himself right into a strong position in the championship. Rouse, Collier and Seeley follow him across the line, and then it's Elliott. Sam Clark, 8th, gets the better of Michael Rutter, so the Australian grabs 8th place ahead of Rutter. Jordan Weaving nicks 10th place from Alex Olsen, and Billy McConnell congratulates the number 67 race winner, EHA Aprilia's Andy Reid.
I think that means they're tying the championship lead now for McConnell and Farmer, I think.
Your maths are
right.
I know 50 points. I can easily do the 50 points for Andy Reid. 37, 47, 50. So they are tied at 57 each. I've just been advised.
Where's Chrissy Rouse? He'll work it out for us.
Yeah, exactly. Let's leave it to him. Andy Reid's Aprilia wins that race. Good Lord, it only took 18 3/4 minutes, James, and they did 24 laps. Keith Farmer in second place for Tyco behind the EHA Aprilia. Two Northern Irish teams ahead of the build-based Suzuki of Billy McConnell. The QuinsPrinters.com by IMR BMW of Chrissy Rouse. Lovely new team set up there ahead of Joe Collier on the second EHA Aprilia. Alistair Seeley on the Stout Connect Academy Kawasaki. Joshie Elliott on the Morello Racing Kawasaki ahead of his teammate, his Australian teammate Sam Clark. Michael Rutter, Batham's BMW in 9th ahead of Jordan Weaving in 10th. 11th place for Alex Olsen. 12th place for Luke Hedger, who had that EHA Aprilia last year. Lee Jackson in 13th place ahead, eventually just ahead of the second QuinsPrinters.com BMW of Jordan Gilbert. Leon Geacock, Suzuki, 15th and final point.